and welcome to the 21st episode of the MyMuddlings podcast. Today is the 16th of January and I am your host Julianne, and I'd like to welcome new and returning viewers to my podcast. If you're a new viewer, thanks so much for checking me out and I hope you like. And incidentally, if you do like the podcast, please hit that subscribe button and give us a big thumbs up just so that YouTube knows that I'm doing a good thing here and hopefully we'll get some more viewers through. So yes, for today I don't have a lot to tell you about. I have been quite busy. I haven't had a chance to do a lot of crafting, unfortunately. And pretty much all I've been really wanting to work on. I'm really sorry, my birds have been quiet all morning. As soon as I want to record this podcast, they're making a ton of noise. I've popped them in the dining room because they're usually in here in the lounge room. I've popped them in the dining room, but they are making so much noise. I hope they're not too annoying and hopefully they'll quiet down shortly. Anyway, yes, I haven't done a whole lot, and what I have been doing has been more kind of comfort crafting. Things that are simple, intuitive, are really pretty, or at least interesting, and are things that I don't have to think too much about. So pretty much the first thing I want to talk about today is the knit along, or the make along I'm going to call it now instead of the stash down along. The make along that we are running over in the MyMuddlings podcast Ravelry group, and it's a year-long knit along where you pick your post. You have your own post and you just update that through the year, and you track how much you've knit from stash. So the stash has to be from prior to the 1st of January 2017. So we've got a few people in there. There's lots of FOs showing up, which is really fun to go and have a look. I'm kind of a little bit, not that I'm annoyed because it's going to make it easier in the long run, but there's I can't comment on what people have posted up there because there's a couple of things I want to comment in. I guess I can go in the chatter thread and tag the person is probably the best way to do it. So yes, if you want to join in, you can join in anytime, so no matter when you see this, but bear in mind you will need to get all of your finished objects that have been knit from stash that was purchased prior to the 1st of January 2017 into your FO thread. But everyone is welcome. I'm going to be having a few prizes through the year. I do have 2 sponsors for the CAL. One is Caroline of Clothesline Designs. She's kindly offered to donate a couple of patterns to some winners. And I also have Tamara of Tam's Crafty Knits, who's offered, I think, a project bag or 2. I just messaged her this morning just to nut that all out and get that all tied down. So yes, I've got those 2 sponsors, and of course myself, I am also a sponsor with MyMuddlings Etsy store. And if you would like to be a sponsor and donate a pattern or a bag, or even if you'd like to just make a monetary donation just to help me out with postage and maybe buying some patterns for prizes, I would be really happy to hear from you just to help get that community sort of participation going. So that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about that. Thank you to everybody who is participating and posting your FOs. It's really exciting, and I've been very eagerly checking in there every day. And so I guess I will get on to what I have been knitting. I have 2 FOs and they are the same thing. If you follow me on Instagram, that's the right one, you will have seen that I have designed a hat pattern which kind of fell out of me last week. I found a stitch pattern that I really liked and I just started knitting, and it was like the pattern was already fully formed and it just fell out of me, and I have a pattern. And I am calling it after my niece, and I'm calling it the Amelia Beret. So I have my 2 samples that I knit here. The first one that I did was this one, which was made from some hand spun that I'd done. And it's really funny because this hand spun, which I'll talk about more in spinning, when I first got the fibre, I was a bit like, I'm not a yellow person. I mean, I know this is gold, sort of a mustardy gold, but I'm not a yellow person, so I was like, oh, well, that's kind of disappointing. You know, I guess I got it as part of a club, which I'll talk about when I talk about the spinning, and, you know, you don't really have any control over what gets sent to you in a club. It's just all, you know, at the whim of the person who's running the club. So these are, this is merino, alpaca, silk and stellina in this one. And the Amelia Beret is like a lace pattern. Let's see if you can see that. And it creates this little star shape in the middle, and that really wasn't planned. I just did the stitch pattern with I did 5 sections of decreases, and yeah, it just turned out that it had this little star in the middle, so I thought that was really cute. So yes, that's the first one that I did. This one was, I think, 134 yards of my hand spun, and the hand spun was at approximate worsted weight. Obviously, as hand spun is, it's a little bit irregular, so some bits were thinner than others. But yes, at approximate worsted weight, so it's 134 yards. I'll pop it on. It's pretty hot here today. And I've already taken photos in these this morning, so I'm a little bit warm, but you can kind of see it's a little sort of a slouchy beret style, and depending how you block it, you could probably block it as like a slouchy beanie, but I blocked them round, so flat and round, so it was more of that beret shape. And this second one here that I knit, because I thought just I'd pick a plain commercial worsted, although this is Cascade 22 Superwash, 220 Superwash, and I know that that's a bit on the thinner side of worsted, so what I've said for the pattern is a heavy DK to worsted weight yarn. So this is in baby denim, I think it was, and I'm intending to do a cowl to match this hat, which I guess will be available as separate patterns and together. And I'm waiting on some more of this fibre so that I can spin up some more yarn, and I tried to get some of this on the weekend, and everywhere that I knew to buy this in Australia was sold out, so or it wasn't even on their website in this colourway, so I don't know what I'm going to do with that, because I've only got a small amount of one ball left. So yes, this is the Amelia Beret, and this one I think I used 136 yards. I can't actually, I've got my show notes in front of me, but because I've taken my glasses off, because I know that they reflect a lot, I can't actually read my show notes, but I'd have to duck out of frame to do so. But I think it was 134 for the gold one and 136 for the blue one. So the blue one, the hand spun, I think, has given a little bit more size. Neither of these, I didn't block either of these over a plate. Like if I blocked it over a plate, I'd be able to get a lot more sort of, I suppose, diameter. But this is unstretched diameter is about 10 inches. So yeah, I guess if you want to slouch your beret, you could block it over a plate. So yes, that's the Amelia Beret, and I'm really happy with this. Like I said, the pattern just kind of fell out of me almost completely fully formed. And yeah, I'm really pleased with it. So I'll have a note at the end because I will be calling for testers. So wait till the end of the podcast. I don't have any shop update today, so you don't have to sit through that. But yes, if you're interested in testing this hat, please continue watching until the end. The only other two things that I've really been working on is my crochet corner to corner diagonal blanket, and what was I up to last week? I think I was around here, I think. So I've done all of that. It is getting long, as you can probably imagine. So pretty much I've just added some bamboo sock yarn here from Bendigo Woolen Mills. And then I've just done my leftovers from my kaleidoscope socks, which I had in the podcast last year. So that was Knit Picks Felici. So yes, this has been, I spent a lot of yesterday working on this because I've just been a little bit mentally exhausted. I've done a lot of socialising. My two older sisters came down last week to visit my younger sister and the new baby. Who is unfortunately still in the hospital. She's having a few problems with keeping her oxygen levels up. So that's a bit disappointing. Everyone's a little bit concerned, but it seems like she'll eventually get out of that. But it's just the hassle of her being in the hospital. So, and those birds are not shutting up, are they? yeah, so she's still stuck in the hospital and she's got to have a couple of tests this week. Hopefully she'll be out by the end of the week. Would be really nice because that's nearly 2 weeks since she was born. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I've just been spending time with my family, going out to friends' places, and I've been struggling with my anxiety and I'm a bit low, so I'm just really into my comfort projects at the moment. This is crochet, obviously. So this is just so repetitive. I've got it completely memorized, so I'm just working through my sock yarn leftover stash that's all in this tin. Whoops, there goes one. And I'm just adding my sea anemone from Kathy's Fibres on now. So yes, that's my corner to corner diagonal blanket. It's going to be harder and harder for you to see any actual progress on that one, I think, because there's, even though I've got like fairly large bits of yarn, the strips are coming out, you know, because they're getting longer. The strips of colour are getting thinner and thinner. So yeah, it's probably going to be harder and harder for you to actually see how I'm going on that. But I will get on to my other work in progress that I have been almost completely been working on since Saturday. I got a bee in my bonnet, and I decided that I wanted to cast on some of my very, very precious wool and vine yarns. So that's from Kristen from the Yarngasm podcast. She's an amazing dyer, and you know, dye goals for me. Hashtag dye goals. And so I got a bee in my bonnet, and I need something beautiful and, you know, just something, some knitting therapy, shall we say. So I am knitting a duotone cowl from my wool and vine yarns. So I cast this on Saturday. It's supposed to have a provisional cast on, but I tried that a couple of times and I hated it, and so I've just cast on in a long tail cast on because I'm not giving anything away. It's a free pattern that's available on Ravelry. Basically, you knit a big tube and then you graft the end together. And I figured, well, I'm grafting anyway, and I'm quite comfortable with grafting through stitches. That's how I do it with my knitted necklaces that I showed last week. So I'm quite happy to just knit the tube, bind off the other end, and then take the yarn tail and graft it together through the stitches. So I've just swapped to the second, get that a bit flatter so you can see. I've just swapped to the second half of the cowl because you have a thick stripe of colour 1, a thin stripe of colour 2, and you do that. The pattern says 15 times, but I did 16 because I think I've got, my gauge is probably a little bit different because I'm usually a bit tighter. Just lost a stitch. And so now I've just started section 2, which is a larger strip of colour 2 and a smaller strip of colour 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my 16 of the second half pattern and see how much yarn I've got left, and then maybe I might do a few more repeats just to use up as much as I can of this yarn. So here's my 2 balls. So this one is Jilted Rose, which is like a really nice tonal sort of pinky burgundy purpley colour, and then Black Pearl, which is another sort of tonal, but it's got purple and grey in it. So yeah, and this is on her, I don't know whether she still does this base, but the base that I'm working on is her Smitten DK. Let me just get the card out. Yes, Smitten DK, which is an 80% superwash merino, 10% nylon and 10% cashmere. So it's a very luxurious blend, and I'm really, really enjoying this. And you can see there's my jogs. I'm not worried about jogs. I'm not going to bother doing any slipping to make it smoother sort of thing. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this. It's lovely and soft, and it's going to just be beautiful for me to wear when the weather gets cold. So I just wish that it was easier to get some of Kristen's yarn. I went on there the other weekend, and although I'm supposed to be on a yarn diet, she had a couple of colourways that I really wanted. And I jumped on there and I added them to my cart as quickly as I could, got to checkout, sorry, those are out of stock. So yes, I'm sure if you've ever tried to get any of Kristen's yarn, you'll know how hard it is. So I have these 2 skeins, and then I have my set that I got that I'm going to be doing an exploration station with. So I just love her yarn. Yeah, so I just wish it was easier to get. She's only one woman, so I completely understand why, but yeah, it'd be nice to get some more. It's just in my own hand-sewn project bag there. And that, I think, is pretty much it. I might come out of frame here for a second, but oh yes, my spinning. I was going to talk about the spinning that I use for this. So yes, as I said, this was a club fibre that I got from Hilltop Clouds Time Travelers Club, and this was November's package, I believe, and it was called Illuminated Manuscript. So it's that real, I guess, you know, the patina kind of colour of aged paper, I guess is what it's supposed to look like. And I'll put a picture in of my skein, because obviously I don't have it skeined up anymore because I have knit something from it. But yes, I did it as a 2-ply on my wee Peggy, and hopefully that's focusing, you can see that. Yeah, a 2-ply on my wee Peggy, and got an approximate worsted weight. I got 200 yards out of the 100 gram package of fibre. And yeah, I was really pleased with this. This was probably my first real spin for a really long time. The first half I was a bit like meh, because it's not really my colour. And but then the second half I kind of got a bee in my bonnet, and I just really wanted to get it done. And then as soon as the thought of this hat popped into my head, I knew that this would be perfect to knit it out of. So I applied this, got it off, gave it a wash, let it dry. Same day I balled it up and I started knitting this hat. So I had to rip it out a couple of times, because I did do a swatch when we were out at the pub the other night. I did a swatch. I did a swatch of just stockinette. I did like a swatch. It was a long one. And I did the ribbing on the bottom, then I did some stockinette, then I did the stitch pattern of the hat, so I could get, you know, a feel for what sort of needles would be right, and I was pretty well spot on when I did it. So yeah, that's my illuminated manuscript. I've got, what, about 60 something yards left, because I used 134 and I had 200, so 66 yards left. So I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of that, but as I said, was thinking of I'm going to design a matching cowl to the hat, so I'll probably keep this aside, and along with the new fibre that I get will be to knit the cowl. So that's my spinning. I've done some spinning, yay! The only other thing that I have been working on is my Tiddly Bits spin, and that's some fibre that I got ages ago from Robin at Sits and Spins, who has an Etsy store called Treadle Handmade Yarns, I believe. I'll pop it all in the show notes so that you can check in there if I do get it wrong. Anyway, yes, so I've been working on that. I am going very slowly. I've just gotten the hang of doing spinning the pencil roving. It's superwash merino in pencil roving, little nests. So yeah, I've been working on that. I kind of want to get that done and off the wheel. Then the only other thing that I've got active is my very big spin for my fuse cardigan. But I've been having a little bit, my old traditional wheel, which I'm usually very comfortable with, has been a little bit temperamental. I think maybe it's gotten jealous that I've been using my other wheels. My tension's not quite right. It's putting too much spin in with the same settings that I've done for my other sweater spin, that purpley one that I did last year. Yes, so I was trying to make the same type of yarn just with a different colour of a new batch of fibre, but yeah, it's not really working out quite well. So the only other thing really to talk about in spinning is, I'll pop a picture in. I was gifted, if you follow my blog, which is www.mymuddlings.com, and that's now where the show notes are. So if you're looking for show notes, head to mymuddlings.com. I was gifted a loom and a spinning wheel a couple of weeks ago by a friend. It used to belong to her mum, and her mum just was clearing out a storage shed, needed to get rid of it. So she said, do you know anybody who would want this? And my friend Megan immediately thought of me, and I'm now the proud owner of a new spinning wheel and a loom. I don't know a lot about the loom because I'm not a weaver at this stage, so but now that I have a loom, I guess I'll have to be. But the wheel I have just discovered last night. I was looking through, I can't remember the lady's name. I'll pop it in the down bar if I can find it. But she has a website about New Zealand spinning wheels, which I'll also put in the down bar in the show notes so that you can have a look. And because the wheel that I got didn't have any kind of marking on it whatsoever. No logo, no writing, nothing. Yeah, so I was looking at her website of all the New Zealand wheels, and it's a Saxony style, and so I looked up Saxony style, and yeah, I figured out that it's a Sleeping Beauty spinning wheel, which was made in New Zealand. So it's a later model, because you can tell because of the way the legs have been turned, and the leather, it uses leather to hold up the treadling bar. So yeah, I was really excited to finally find out what it was, because I think Megan's mum has got some booklets for me, and she's still looking for the bobbins. So I don't have any bobbins yet, so I can't actually spin on it. But my dad helped me out the other night. It uses little leather straps to hold the flyer in, and one of those leather straps had come out, so he glued that back in for me. And the mother of all is held on just by a hinge bracket, and one of the holes had sort of become threaded so that the screw wouldn't stay in anymore, because obviously the hole had all smoothed out. So my dad's put some extra long, well, not quite that long, it would go through the platform of the spinning wheel, but he's put some longer nails in so that it grips right down underneath the holes that were already there. So I'm just about ready to spin on it. I just need those bobbins. So I'm really glad that I figured out what type of wheel it was. So now I can pop that up on my blog as well as my other new wheel. And I think I said I'll pop a picture in so that you can have a look and see the new Sleeping Beauty wheel. I've just got to name it now. I guess I should really call it Aurora, hey? Sleeping Beauty was one of my favourites when I was a kid. So yes, that's pretty much all I have to talk about other than the test for the beret. So if I'm looking for 5 or so people, I would probably absolute maximum cap it at 10, who would like to test the beret. So pretty much it's fairly quick. I knit the blue one. I'll pick them up again so you can see. I knit this blue one in a day, because this one obviously it was a bit of trial and error because it was my first prototype, but pretty much I had it down after that, and I knit this in a day, so it doesn't take very long. So it's probably, as I've got in the Ravelry thread, definitely head over there and have a look, because I've written it all down. You can have a read. There's a few sections where there's a lot of marker movement, especially in the decreases at the top, because you have to borrow a stitch from the previous section. So there's a fair bit of marker movement. It's only really knits, purls, yarn overs, and some various decrease stitches. So I would say an advanced beginner to an intermediate knitter, an advanced knitter would definitely be able to do it. And you'll need approximately 135, 140, depending on your gauge, if you're getting the right gauge, yards of a heavy DK to worsted weight yarn. So my deadline is the 6th of February, because as I said, it's not a very long, it doesn't take very long to knit. So yeah, 6th of February is my deadline, and I'd like to get the pattern out by the end of February. And yes, so if you were interested, please contact me via a private message on Ravelry. And I'm Anne of Julie over there, and otherwise you can also email me at juliannec@mymuddlings.com. So I'll pop that all down in the down bar so that you can see, and also in the show notes. So if you are interested, I will definitely be capping it at 10 if I get that many people. But if I could get 5 or so people who would like to test that and give me your feedback, I would really appreciate it. So, and of course, once the pattern is released and everything, I will give you gift you the final copy. So yeah, please get in touch. I would love to hear from you, and I'll do it as a first in, first served kind of thing. If I get 15 people and the first 10 I will let test it, and the others, unfortunately, I won't send through the pattern. But so anyway, have a good week. I'm just blathering now. Have a good week. Happy crafting. Stay cool if you're in the hot weather. Stay warm if you're in the cold weather. And I will see you next week. So bye.